Legions of Wall Streeters making predictions at the start of each year, but no one's annual list is followed more closely than the man who predicted last year that the S&P 500 would trade at 4,500 during the last half of 21. And that was just one of his top 10 calls he gave right here on last January that were quite correct. He was right when it came to his prediction. Was he? About Donald Trump's ambitions post-presidency? Blackstone's Vice Chairman Byron Wien is here with his top surprise predictions for 2022. Happy New Year, Byron. Great to see you once again. You nailed the call for S&P 500 last year. It did hit 4,500. It kept climbing. What right now is your big unveil for equities in 2022?
I don't think they're going to do much. Liz, we've had 3 great years. We were up in 2019, 29%, 16% in 2020, and 27% last year. I think we're going to rest for a while. So I have the market not making any progress in 2022.
Well, you can't win them all, can you, Byron? I think part of it may have to do, of course, with what's happening in the bond market and what may happen with the Federal Reserve, correct? I mean, right now, if we look at the 10-year Treasury yield, and folks, they move inversely to the actual price of the bond. Prices of bonds are going down. We're looking at a 10-year yield right now of 1.667%. It was about 1.67% earlier today. We saw a major jump yesterday in the 10-year yield of 13 basis points. I believe that's the biggest first day of trading of the year jump since, 2009? Byron, what is the Federal Reserve going to do? It appears the market is predicting it will make those 3 rate hikes. What say you?
I think they'll do 4. They're really concerned about inflation. They really believe that it cuts the advantage of rising wages. So I think the 10-year Treasury will rise to 2.75% with 4 increases in the Fed funds. So I'm on the bearish side of the bond market.
Bearish side of the bond market with a much higher yield. That's pretty stunning. Again, we stand at 1.666 at the very moment, so we'll be watching that prediction. Certainly the Federal Reserve. Go ahead.
I have it up. I have yields up a full percentage point from here.
Wow. Okay. 2.67. We shall see. Okay. The Federal Reserve, along with the Securities and Exchange Commission, have hardly given a full-throated support or endorsement of cryptocurrencies. You know, some people have viewed cryptocurrencies as the hedge against inflation, which is smacking us all in the face at the moment. Does that hold? Do you believe that cryptos will remain on a trajectory that puts it in that sort of position of this is your inflation sort of mediator?
Well, I'm not a big cryptocurrency fan. I do think gold will do well this year. I think that'll be a change. Gold has not performed in previous years, and I think this is a year that people will focus on it. The volatility of cryptocurrencies is discouraging. I think some people want to put part of their assets in something that has real value, but isn't so volatile.
Do you have a call for gold? We're just at $1,814.
Yeah, I think gold could be up 20% this year.
That's a significant jump. Is there an international region that you would avoid this year?
I think the emerging markets are going to have a tough time of it. They're not in great shape in terms of COVID. Many of them are tightening monetary policy. So I think the emerging markets will have more difficulty. But I don't expect the U.S. markets to do well. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up the fact that even in some of the emerging markets, and especially here in the developed world and in the United States, it feels like the year that electric vehicles go mainstream. You have made a prediction about that, and it's not specifically that they won't go mainstream. It's more of what could trip up the EV revolution. What is that?
What could trip it up is it needs lithium, nickel, cobalt, a number of rare earths that are hard to find and hard to mine, and only in a few places. So you can manufacture the cars, but if you can't get the raw material components that are necessary to get them running, you could be in trouble. So I think there might be a limitation imposed by the unavailability of these rare earths.
Yeah, we've got that one rare earth company here in the U.S., MP Materials, and General Motors has struck that deal. And GM's Mary Barra is going to be on the show tomorrow live as she unveils the all-electric Silverado. So we've really got to watch for what she says about that, plus the fact that Toyota has just overtaken General Motors as the biggest seller of cars in the United States. That news broke today. MP Materials up 4.6% right now. I do have to finish out with your last year's surprise prediction. You said that former President Donald Trump would start a television network. You were right with half of that. He is starting a social network. But you also predicted that he would jump into the presidential ring once again for 2024. Are you still standing by that?
Well, I'm staying clear of politics this year, but it certainly looks like he's focusing on a run.
It's great to have you, and thank you so much. I wish you had said that inflation will go away. You're not saying that, right, Byron?
No, inflation is with us. I think COVID is going to be with us, and we're going to have to continue to get booster shots. And I think inflation is with us for the rest of the year.
Well, we need to learn to live with it, and that's what we are doing here in Las Vegas one day before the Consumer Electronics Show, a big test for international conventions. CES is the first, and you have said we will return to normal to events like that this year. Byron, thank you so much for joining us. Be well. Byron Wien of Blackstone. And by the way, we are putting all of Byron's predictions up, all 10 of them, on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Liz Claman. We'll see you next time, Byron. Thank you.
Always great to be with you, Liz.